What's up, YouTube? Welcome to my channel, Careers by Kirstie. Okay, so economists are predicting that we're headed towards a recession, and I've been sharing some tips on how to prepare for this on my TikTok page. So thought I might as well bring it over to YouTube. So if you're interested in that, go ahead and like this video, subscribe to my channel, and listen up. So basically, the World Bank and a lot of global economists have said that we're headed towards a recession, if we're not in one already. And it's just very frustrating to hear more bad news, given that we haven't had a sense of normalcy since COVID. I mean, we're slowly having our rights chipped away. Gas prices are through the roof. Groceries are literally so expensive. And, our politics are in the trash. You know, it's just frustrating that we have another layer of life just to worry about. So most people remember the recession in 2008, and here we are in 2022 having talks about a recession. So frustrating to say the least, but what I want to do is talk about how we can survive, because literally that's what it feels like we're doing. We're just going through the motions day by day, figuring out how we can survive this shithole of a life, of an earth we're living on. I'm just how we can survive all of this like mass hysteria. Like, it is crazy. It is insane. So yeah, I want to talk about how we can survive it with some tips on how to prepare and how to get through it. And it'll be an ongoing series. Like I mentioned, I have a few videos on it already on my TikTok page. If you're not following me on TikTok, make sure you're doing that. And honestly, I'm going to be honest, it's especially frustrated because it feels like this is being orchestrated. Like, I feel like our world leaders are really playing with us. At this point, we've heard so many conversations about the rich getting richer, the poor getting poorer, the middle class disappearing. And I feel like we're watching this play out after hearing so much of that with the election in 2012. And here we are in 2022, and it feels like we're witnessing it. So a lot to swallow, okay? A lot to process, which kind of leads me to my first point. The first tip to remember might sound like a basic one, but don't panic. Nothing really comes good out of panicking. In fact, it could lead you to make some really terrible decisions. So don't panic, prepare. Look for solutions, look for information that will help you prepare, even if it's baby steps. I know that there's a lot of economists and that are out here saying, okay, invest in stocks and do this with your portfolio, and to do this. I don't know about y'all, but I'm not there yet. Hopefully in the future I will be there, but I'm not there yet. So even all of that as solution is like overwhelming. So the first thing we want to do is look for preparations and tactics that are comparable to our level, comparable to where we're at in life. So don't panic, prepare. Tip number 2 is to cut down on your spending. You really want to take the time to list out all of your expenses. If you can, go back to your previous months and see how much you spent on what. Figure out what you're spending the bulk of your money on, just so that you know. Because I can tell you to cut your spending, but if you don't know what you're spending your money on, that doesn't really help. So you really want to look at your bank statements. If you have money saving apps or apps that track your spending, take a look at it, analyze it. What are you spending your money on? And then that'll help you to figure out what you can cut your spending on. You want to really shift your mindset from a consumer mentality to a mentality that kind of saves. That is a savings mentality, and which is really hard because we're advertised to from the moment that we wake up. We're really taught to spend our money on clothes, food, expensive things, nice trips, and when really we can have a great, thriving life without spending so much money. Once you take care of your major expenses like shelter, food, transportation, then you can set the foundation of a healthy life, especially a healthy life during a recession. And then you can start, putting money towards the things that you want, maybe even more needs that are like an elective need. You know what I mean? So yeah. Currently, I use the app Mint. I've had it connected to my bank for a while now. I don't really use it to the best of my ability, but every time I kind of look at the app or go into it, it's really extensive and it's really helpful to see like what I'm spending my money on. Also, I bank with Bank in America. I know it's a terrible bank. However, that's what I have right now. And they do have like they have like a section on the website where you can see your expenses, obviously, but they put it into a nice pie chart, and I can see I'm spending money on transportation this month. It'll show you what you spent in a month or you're spending thus far within the month. So there's a lot of helpful tools probably within apps that you already use, like your banking app. So poke around and play with your banking app to get like a snapshot on what you're spending. Even if you take like just 10 minutes to do that, I think that'll help to visualize like, oh wow, I'm spending a lot of money on going out, so that can help you just to understand where your money is going so that you can direct it into a savings account or direct it to making more intentional purchases. Tip number 3. Now, once you've cut back on your spending and you've mentally switched from a consumer mentality into a more of a saving and a hoarding mentality, you want to create a budget. This is where you do get more organized, you do get more planned with what you're spending your money on, and that might take an hour, it might take 30 minutes for you, but please, if you're really serious about being prepared for this recession, on surviving through it, take the time to create a budget. And I was doing some research on what kind of budget management is helpful for people. And I came across one that's called the zero-based budget, which basically is a budget where you allocate all of your money towards something. You're really hands-on with your budget. So that means maybe checking it every 2 weeks or every month, or changing it every 2 weeks and every month, as your life kind of fluctuate. Because the one thing that frustrates me sometimes about a budget is that it feels so fixed, like, oh, do your budget for the beginning of the month. Well, life is so sporadic where a lot of things change. You have to pivot, something, your car might need repair, and then you have to switch your budget around. So a zero-based budget is a very interactive budget where you allocate your funds somewhere, and that you can honestly say, I know exactly where every coin is going, every penny is going. And that includes a savings account. That includes, your 401k. That includes your investments. That includes, groceries. So really keep a tally of where your money is going and let it change with you. So if you can do some research on a zero-based budget, I think it might be really helpful, because it was helpful for me. So that is tip number 3. If you're enjoying this video so far, go ahead and give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so already. It'll just help me to keep making more content like this. Okay, let's jump right back into the video. My 4th tip is to create a savings account. So after you've created your budget, you've gone through your expenses, you've seen how much you're spending, you've seen where your money is going. Now I'm hoping within that budget, you've created a savings portion where you're going to allocate money every 2 weeks or every month, just so that you can have a nice cushion. Honestly, even if it's just $500, $800, and this comes back to my point of starting where you're at. You don't have to feel like you're behind if you don't have a savings account of $5,000. Although I'm sure there's a lot of people who are watching this that are like, I'm good, I've got 2,000, 5,000, 10K in my savings account, that is great. But for my beginners who might be in school or working, part-time, even if it's just a few bucks, $20 here and there, that really adds up. So be intentional about creating a savings account. And I mean, when I say savings, do not touch it. You really want to get into the nitty gritty of that budget, so that you can really set your savings account to the side and not worry about it until you need it. And this is just to make sure you have a pool of cash somewhere. Like I said, these tips are for myself as well. Now, tip number 5, which is my last tip for this video, is for my people who are working 9-to-5s and they are scared of being laid off. As you guys know, within a recession, there's a lot of layoffs that happen. There are a few tech companies that have already started laying off employees. There have been hiring freezes just because these organizations and corporations are just as uncertain of the economy as we are. We don't know where we're headed. So therefore, what are they doing? They're being frugal with where they're putting their money. So they're either putting a hiring freeze on their HR department, or they're laying off people that they might have excessively hired. And during this time of uncertainty, they're really getting back to just the basics. So we want to do that for ourselves as well. So if you are working a 9-to-5 and talks about a recession scares you because you think your company might be subjected to layoffs, then this tip is for you. Tip number 5 is to prove your value at work. And I know this is like a taboo topic because everybody is in their corporate villain era and we don't want to give these employees any more of our time than we're already giving, which I understand. But like I said, this is for my folks who are scared of getting laid off. You really want to prove your value at work. You want to start throwing your hat in the ring for projects that you know your organization needs. If you can lead a project that you know your company needs, they will be least likely to get rid of you or lay you off because they need that project done. So you really want to focus on work that matters instead of just working on things that are easy. When you have one-on-ones with your boss or your manager, be sure to let him know of like all of the little praises that you might get from your client groups or other coworkers, other managers that are really impressed by the work that you do. Those little emails of people saying, thank you so much for this, like you're a lifesaver. Make sure to save those and really talk yourself up in those one-on-one meetings so that your manager knows you're a valued member of the organization, that people like you, because likability is huge in the corporate world, and that you're an asset. You really want to prove that you're an asset to that organization. Make sure you're showing up to work on time, logging in early, helping out the higher ups when they need additional support. All of that stuff that we might not normally do because we're just coasting by, surviving this post-COVID world. You kind of want to go a little bit above and beyond. And when it comes to navigating your organization, you want to be direct, but you don't want to come off as desperate. You don't want people to kind of catch on to like, oh, you're really going over the top, even though that's what you are doing. You want to play it kind of cool. I know that's so lame to say, but you do kind of want to play it kind of cool. You want to slide things in as effortlessly as possible if you can, just so that it's in their subconscious, like you need me, like you need me as a worker. So those are my 5 tips on how we're going to survive this recession. I hope you found this video useful. Send it to somebody who you think would find it useful as well. I think I'm going to make this a series. I've made it a series on my TikTok page. So I think I would also make it a series here on YouTube. Once again, like this video, subscribe to my channel, and I look forward to putting out the next video. Talk to you guys later. Bye.